Friday, it's Daybreak on Arise News, and it's time for the press preview. First look at what's on the front pages of the papers. We'll start, of course, at our sister publication this day. And on its front page, as its headline, it says Presidency. APC still divided on zoning. Mulls options to face Atiku. It has about 3 riders. Let's look at them. Some governors want to go south. Adamu, others prefer north. Party may reopen sale of forms to broaden choices for candidates. How many days to the primaries? Moves to encourage El Rufai Zulum to join race. Interesting. All right, we'll talk about that. Just below that picture, where you have Buhari in Spain, the first president to visit Spain from here in 17 years. Army denies involvement of soldiers in kidnap of Methodist Church prelate. And then, of course, at the top mast, first of all, the orange strip. Atiku received certificate of return, says there is much to be done. He has 2 riders there. The convention was family affair. Declares no victor, no vanquished. Wike visits former vice president at his Asokoro residence. And then on the top mast, disagreements among concessionaires delaying takeoff of $3.1 billion e-customs project. We'll leave it there and go to the next paper.
The Punch newspaper is leading with APC Exco governors divided over Buhari's succession plan and screening report ready. There's more insecurity. Local foreign companies withdraw 69% of investment projects. INEC, that's the electoral body, laments low turnout, says 20 million PVCs unclaimed. And the army is denying complicity in the abduction of the Methodist prelate.
All right, we'll look at Guardian. APC stakeholders Pandef slam Buhari on successor church. We'll talk about that. Tinubu supporters, Lukman, others reject plot for consensus. Tinubu joining SDP. Mere speculation, says Oni. It's absurd. There is no citizens' participation in selection process. That's from Pandef. Melaye, it's abominable for Buhari to pick his successor in a democracy. And then Ndume Buhari, in order, should be interested in who succeeds him. We will discuss that at length. Different strokes for different folks. Army denies a complicity in prelate's kidnap as youths protest. Okay, let's leave it there for the Guardian.
Now, the Nation newspaper is leading with 2023 president. It's Saud's turn after Buhari. That's according to Governor Ben Ayade. PDP delegate shares 7 million naira with community. Ministry director forfeits Varsity Hotel factory. The court rules on an EFCC suit. Nigeria, Spain see global action against food crisis, and Kwara State reopens school after it was shut over a hijab crisis.
All right, newspaper, foreign papers now, international papers. 70 not out. Well, one has to read that to find out what it means. Paper. Go on.
And the Independent now. NHS braces for Jubilee weekend chaos in A&E. Of course, a 4-day event to kickstart the 70-year reign of the Queen on the throne. It kicks off today in the UK.
The Guardian, that's the International Guardian, changes to ethics code fuel mistrust. Prime Minister is warned.
And this is...
let me just take this.
Okay.
Heartbroken, Heard loses Depp libel case.
And this is the Times. Johnson's allies brand Tory rebels narcissists. And there is a picture of Queen Elizabeth II. It says, Queen thanks nation in Jubilee message.
Daily Mail. Let's look at Daily Mail, and then we'll bring in Emmanuel, our for our press preview. Now let's make happy memories. The Queen's joyous Jubilee message. Everybody should be happy. Amber's shattering £7 million courtroom humiliation. So was it Kate Mulls who won it for Johnny? Dramatic reports on pages 3 to 5 of Daily Mail. All right, at this juncture, we'll bring in Emmanuel. Emmanuel, let's so many stories, interesting stories here to talk about. Particularly interesting is the question of successor, who succeed. I think it happens all over the world. It's not akin to Nigeria or to President Buhari. But let's start with the presidency. APC still divided on zoning. Mulls options to face Atiku. What do you make of that? I mean, with the riders, some governors want to go south. Adamu says it should go north. And then what again here? And then the question of trying to, I don't understand, open set of forms to bring in Rufai and Zulum or Borno State. What's your sense of all that?
Good morning, good morning, Kenneth. I think part of the thing is, the APC is confronted with the Atiku, what I would call the Atiku challenge, because it's worried about this, and a lot of people have said that, look, it's really at this point, they wonder who the APC will bring that will be able to face the challenge. Don't forget that Atiku has been in this field before. He's gone through this journey, a number of times. So he came in prepared, and he's so determined this time around. And so maybe this has rattled the ruling party, and and it doesn't even make it any easier for them when the president is still talking about a successor. What if this successor is not the one that can take on the power of the APC? Elections are going to be better now, votes are going to count. And so the person who is going to be the next president probably will actually be the president, the express will of the people. So you need those votes. You need somebody that can galvanize the attention, the imagination of Nigerians, certainly their support. And so that's why the APC is shopping. And so I'm not shocked that they are even trying to say, okay, let's open the field further for more people to come in this late minutes of the situation to say, well, they want to draft in El-Rufai or Zulum. Which some people actually say very interesting character. But Zulum, of course, has ruled that out and say, look, I would rather stay the governor of Borno State, continue the work I'm doing, than to be a president of anywhere. Exactly. So now they have so three things really. One, the problem, the three problems are: one, the fact that the president wants a successor. Two, they have those crises of zoning. They feel that, look, it's actually a moral burden to them. PDP doesn't have that kind of moral burden of zoning the power to even that. The PDP has received knocks for not zoning the presidency to this, but certainly the APC cannot afford to have another northerner because they just had 1, 2. So they're thinking of the kind of southerners that can galvanize or capture the imagination of both the south and the north. I think that's the Herculean task before them as we head to Monday.
Well, it does appear the PDP has made a powerful chess move by electing the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Meanwhile, he's received his certificate of return from his party. But we're worried, Emmanuel. The Independent National Electoral Commission is lamenting 20 million PVCs unclaimed. In some states, if you go on the socials, citizens have been complaining and crying out that the staff of the electoral body is demanding sums ranging from 500 to 1,500 naira before they can collect their permanent voter cards. How can we encourage people across Nigeria to troop out en masse to get these cards?
Well, I think now more than ever before, everybody needs to be conscious that this is no longer an activity. This is actually a mission for individuals. If we're going to, elections are going to be, of course, from all indication, INEC seem to be very, very ready for these elections. And the INEC keep reassuring, even the Ekiti, the example that is coming up ahead in weeks' time. INEC keeps saying that, look, we're going to have great elections, we're going to have good elections. So you need your PVC. So apart from citizens buying and of course encouraging others to get it, the INEC will have to also still do a lot of work. Look into this allegation of money for cards and do something about it. But beyond that, to restore a lot of confidence, like it's trying to do, use the Ekiti as the model for this new vibe or this new, if you wish, resurgence of the INEC, saying that, look, it's a new day altogether for voters and their card and the outcomes of election. That's only going to get better. And so people should be excited that, look, maybe perhaps for the very first time, their vote will count, and that INEC will ensure that everybody gets at least those cards that they really need for these elections.
Well, maybe we should discuss more on the succession thing, Emmanuel. All over the world, everybody looks out for who will succeed me, who will take over from me and continue either the, let's just say, the good work. So it's not strange. And even the governors try to do same. Not just in Africa, but all over the world. It's not an African thing. It's a world, even in companies. I mean, people want to build up somebody to take over from them who can either continue the good work or their legacies.
Yeah, well, the argument is that it's a democracy, and in a democracy, the people of the country decide who rule over them. That's what democracies are all about. That's what happened with the social contract, that people are going to decide to say, based on the records of people, and say, look, these are the people who want to see rule. The idea of saying that you are going to anointing or choosing a successor and everything, a bit alien, or in fact completely alien to democracy. What happened is that people come out and then they are voted for. So when the president continuously say things like, it's disturbing when he continuously, for instance, when he started off by saying that, look, he knows his successor and that he will not reveal his name, but if he does that, he will be attacked. Those things sounded really bizarre. And then it's even more weird now that he's saying that, look, give me an opportunity to pick my successor. My gut feeling is that, look, Nigerians are just going to reject his successor anyway. Because if you say your successor is going to continue your legacy, what legacy? This legacy of crisis that we're seeing, the crisis, the legacy of... A lot of people have questioned the legacy of the president. And you're right, yes, most presidents or most leaders will want to see who take after them. Maybe it's their right. That could be their fundamental right, but then their right must not override the overriding rights of the individuals, of Nigerians and people who want to vote, who want to select their own leader. That's what democracy is all about. So, well, the president might have his way, but
Nigerians
might have his say or have his way, and the Nigerians, of course, will not decide. So, and that is one of the problems APC is faced with. What if the president decides to bring someone that Nigerians are going to reject?
What if he decides to bring someone that two sides to a coin?
If he brings someone that Nigerians like or love, then of course they go to Nigerians will then of course exercise their franchise.
That's the point.
Their power to vote. But the truth of the matter is that the president continuously say, I would not want to be called the president's anointed candidate if I were these people. You run this race as an individual, and even if the president wants you and you are his candidate, I don't think it's something that it's not such a strong marketing to be the candidate. There are people who have lost the election because they were candidates or they were anointed by a particular, they carry the baggage. Lawa was saying something
that's the
yesterday.
Risk.
Yes, Lawa was saying that Nigeria need a president who doesn't have any baggage. But the biggest baggage any candidate can have is the baggage of the 8-year record of this administration. That's a strong baggage, because you will need to explain your rules, or you need to explain those records as you try to also present yourself as a new candidate. But you can't divide it. So when Osibajo, for instance, the vice president, came out, a lot of people say, well, we like you, but your problem is that you were part and parcel of the 8 years you are seeking to deal with. Now,
he was only a vice president.
Oh yes, that was the excuse he gave. And vice president said this a lot. They said, look, I wasn't the president,
but that's the truth.
I did. Well, this could be the truth, but then they say that, and people cannot just take it away. The optics in the last 8 years is that they see you side by side with the person who was the president. How to actually divest yourself or suddenly cut off yourself from that record or from that history is another baggage. And maybe that's what Senate President Lau was talking about, that this country needs someone who doesn't have those kind of baggage, trying to explain to the electorate the rules. You need a fresh face, someone that can say, look, I wasn't part of the problem, I can be part of the solution.
Well,
how about experience?
If the citizens are not comfortable with the baggage of the APC, there is Peter Obi in Labour Party, and there's Professor Mahdi in APGA.
And
there is Atiku Abubakar in the PDP, Kwankwaso in NNPP. So it's so many people.
There's a
the other worry is that they think that if the president keeps talking about
that's all we can take now.
No, he can't force anyone to
That's all we can take. Thank you, Emmanuel Bello. Interesting discussions here on Daybreak.